Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Late Night Talk. It's been a while, and I'm super excited to bring back some interesting guests to my channel. And today we have very special guest Heather Walford, and we're going to be talking about very special livebearer called Zoogoneticus Tequila, and also about other interesting topics with Heather. So, Heather, welcome in the stream.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's absolute pleasure having you around here. Thank you very much for actually being on my birthday live stream. We were trying to get your presentation over there, and we all know that it didn't work out that time. And I promise that I'm going to bring you back at some point. So I'm super excited that you're here with us today. First of all, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Right, so my name's Heather Walford. I've been keeping fish for well over 10 years now. They involve a wide range of different species, beta, plecos, fancy goldfish. I've even had a couple of flower horns as well. I've kept many different species of fish. I used to breed blue Moscow guppies for quite a few years, and now I'm currently breeding Zoogoneticus Tequila.
How did you get into the hobby? What is something that fascinated you at the beginning, and what is the reason why you started keeping fish?
One of the reasons I started keeping fish because I know that they're good for your mental health. Like just looking at a fish tank can reduce your blood pressure, it can reduce your heart rate. It was also something to keep me busy, keep me focused, and keep me productive. And one tank just turned into 20.
That's amazing. And when have you started keeping fish?
I started keeping fish. It's been over 10 years now, so it's been quite a while.
And do you remember what was your very first fish?
My very first fish, I'm happy to say, was a fancy goldfish. I absolutely adore them.
Yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous looking, and actually many people from UK has told me before on my live streams that they had fancy goldfish as a first fish, so that's super exciting. But anyway, let's jump into the Zoogoneticus tequila, the very special livebearer that you're keeping and breeding, and basically the main topic of our today's interview.
Well, in March 2020, I attended my first ever British Livebearer Association event. I went with the intention of trying to find something that was really, really special. I was frankly getting fed up of breeding the blue Moscow guppies I'd been doing for a few years. I had a few spare tanks going that were heavily planted, and I was asking around, and it wasn't long before I was soon led to a few rare species of Gadaids. The ones that really caught my eye were the Zoogoneticus Tequila. I was told that some would be up for auction the following day. So I went home and did some research, and I was quite shocked to learn that these species were critically endangered, and a lot of conservation work was happening to keep the species going. And I returned the next day and managed to secure 3 pairs of Zoogoneticus tequila at the auction that the British Livebearer Association were hosting. So I was quite chuffed with that.
That's absolutely amazing. So you basically got them next day on the auction, right?
I got 3 pairs, so I got 3 males and 3 females.
Can you please introduce us into this species? Can you do a little species spotlight for us?
Yeah, of course. So the Zoogoneticus tequila are a rare species of Gadaid. In 2000, a tiny wild population was discovered in a small and isolated area of the Tuchinton Springs. Sadly, this population was so small that a lot of doubt was cast on the fish's long-term viability, hence why the species was listed as critically endangered. The Good Working Group, Chester Zoo, and many other organisations started working together with the University of Morelia to do a reintroduction project for this species, and I believe this was the year 2015. The project used strategies to get the local residents on board, the using of recreation ponds for the acclimatisation of captive bred fish, the reintroduction of the fish, and also a monitoring and scientific guidance for over 2 years. I know that this project is now at an end and only time will tell whether it's been successful. I know that 700 project bred tequila spitfin, also known as Zoogoneticus tequila, were released successfully back into the wild habitat.
That's absolutely amazing. So basically, you guys have been breeding them in the aquariums and that way preserving the fish, and then they are actually introduced back into their natural habitat to make sure that they will not get extinct.
That is correct, yes.
That's so beautiful. Are they omnivore fish?
Um, a lot of proteins required. They're actually known to predate on their young. So omnivore, yes, I'd say omnivore. I try to give my Zoogoneticus Tequila vegetable matter, but they seem to really dislike it.
So would you say that they're omnivores but more on the carnivore side, or just that they kind of need to have a varied diet?
They need to have a varied diet. Like I feed mine a variety of different foods such as Daphnia, fluval bug bites, fish science insect meal, tropical flakes, livebearer flakes with the occasional sprinkle of vegetable matter. But again, they really seem to dislike the vegetable matter.
Okay, so are you feeding them mostly dried food, or are you also introducing some live or frozen foods as well?
A mixture of both. Like they do have a choice of live Daphnia, also frozen as well, and a mixture of flakes and pellets and sinking pellets. Just a whole mixture of different foods, really.
And are you buying live daphnia, or are you collecting it yourself, or maybe breeding it?
No, I culture it. I culture it myself because I'm aware of all the disease you can bring in with live food. So that's one thing I'm quite strict about, really.
So you culture daphnia yourself. I've heard that culturing daphnia is actually pretty difficult.
Some would say it's difficult and some would probably say it's easy. It depends whether you've got access to the outdoors, really.
So you have them in a garden, or?
Yes, in the garden, in an outdoor tub.
Okay, so and that's absolutely amazing. So you're basically creating and producing your own live foods. That's perfect. So let's move into breeding. So they're livebearers, right?
Yes, of course they are.
So how often approximately are they dropping the fry, and what are your experiences with breeding this fish?
Right, to this day, I have successfully managed to breed my Zoogoneticus tequila quite a few times. I currently have over 20 juveniles. A lot of time and hard work has gone into each and every one of them. As this species is known to predate on their young, I try and keep such a strict watch on the pregnant females in the aquarium, just so I can make sure to separate all of the fry which were born before they will get eaten. I found leaving the fry with the parents for the first few weeks is really risky, no matter how many hiding places you've got, no matter how many plants you've got in the tank. They are so they just that they're so opportunistic. They will eat their fry. Also, it's worth noting that the tequila's gestation period is very long, at approximately 60 days. So if the parents do end up eating a spawn, it's a really long time before you get some more. So it's not worth the risk, in my opinion. Strict watch should be kept over pregnant females at all times, and you should quickly separate the fry. That's my experience, and it seems to have gone pretty well. So I've managed to save all the fry, and none of them have got eaten, which is a plus.
Yeah, definitely. As you've been saying, in case that the female is actually pregnant for 60 days, that would mean that you need to wait another 60 days for another drop. And what I've been reading about the species is that their drops are not really large, right?
Well, it can vary. A small female, I'd say, I've had a small female that's dropped about 4 or 5 fry. The biggest female I've had has dropped over 13 fry, so it really depends. It's also worth noting that this species gestates fry internally with something similar to umbilical cords and placentas. It's actually quite amazing to see them give birth.
Okay, that has to be very interesting. Do you have it maybe on the video, or you have seen it only?
I've seen it, but I've not managed to get it on video. But it is something that I'm planning on doing when I've got my YouTube channel up and running.
Yes, that would be definitely something super interesting to see. And what would be the ideal tank setup for this fish?
So I would always recommend for this species a species only tank. My Zoogoneticus tequila are in a species only aquarium at a temperature of 22 Celsius, which is always lower during the winter time to give them a break from breeding. I have them housed in a 200-litre aquarium with slightly softer water. They're fed a variety of different foods. When settled, they are really inquisitive and very interesting to watch. I'd say I wouldn't go any smaller than 100 litres for this species personally.
Okay, so that's actually pretty large aquarium for how big they're actually getting?
My biggest female I've got is probably about I'd say 7 or 8 centimeters, but she's quite old and she's actually the boss of the tank with this species. You'll always usually get a boss, a dominant female.
And usually it's a female.
Usually, yes. And you'll always get males that will spar with each other to mate with the dominant female.
So how do you distinguish, or how can you tell apart males and females?
Well, it's quite easy, really. You can tell just by simply looking at the pedicle fin, the caudal fin, sorry.
Okay, and are females much larger than males, or just a little bit?
Females are larger than males, yes.
So that would also be a sign that you would be looking for when you're trying to sex the fish, right?
The tails are quite bright on the males. You won't be able to miss them really.
Okay, so they're basically very easy to tell apart. How long approximately can they live? What is their lifespan?
I'd say about 4 to 5 years, but then again, it really does vary with how well they're looked after and what type of diet they're given. It also is going to vary between how much you've actually bred from them as well. I think once they hit a certain age, they're less likely to produce fry.
Okay, but that is very interesting lifespan, like 4 to 5 years for livebearer. That is very interesting. So I think that would be everything that I personally wanted to ask you about this very interesting fish. So far, would you say that your experiences with breeding this fish and choosing this particular species was a very good idea? Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a species which has truly stolen my heart. I'd recommend if anyone has a spare aquarium to get in touch with the British Livebearer Association or the Good Aid working group to find out more about this species.
Definitely. And would you also say that you're also enjoying the preservation process and being part of this project in particular? Are you also searching for another interesting and rare species of fish that you would possibly be preserving in the future?
Yes, I'm looking into getting some more rare good aids. I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm currently in the process of moving house. So it would be once the main tanks have all been set up and they're all back and running, and I would probably invest in another hobby. But the Zoogoneticus Tequila has to be one of my all-time favourite good aids, definitely.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that they've stole your heart. But let's back up a little bit and talk about also other fish that you've kept and your experiences with them. So you said that you have great experiences mostly with goldfish, catfish, and guppies. So for how long have you been breeding them, and why you've chosen this particular species of fish?
Okay, so I used to breed betta. Some people might call them betta, some people might call them beta. It depends if you're English or American. So I'm just going to refer to them as beta. I first started importing them in 2009 because there wasn't much variation in the aquatic retail section. So I began importing them using the transhipper and I bred those for quite a few years. That was a good experience, learnt a lot. I've kept fancy goldfish. I did attempt at breeding them, but it wasn't successful as I just didn't have the space really. Blue Moscow guppies I've had for numerous amount of years. I've bred them, quite happy with my lines. I plan to show a few at the Fancy Guppy UK show coming up in September. I'm trying to think what else. I'm interested in owl numbered plecos, mainly owl 046, which are the zebra plecos. I had a colony of those and I was breeding them quite successfully. That was a bit of a challenge. They are quite lazy catfish when it comes to breeding. I've had quite a few predator fish as well, which mainly just for personality and nothing more than just to enjoy them as pets. There's been so many different species of fish. I've had a lot of loaches as well, tetras, yeah, all sorts of fish, yeah.
Definitely had to be a great experience keeping all these kind of fish, and you, I'm sure, learned a lot about them as well. So you said that you've kept fancy guppies as well for a very long time. Are you breeding them for standard?
I'm breeding them show quality, yes. I breed to a certain standard for health, colour, and finnage.
Have you already been showing them before, or you're just trying, or you're just planning to start showing them?
I'm just planning to start showing them. I've been to the Fancy Guppy UK show, I think it was last year, March 2020. I just wanted to have a look around, have a feel of things, how the judges work, get my own opinion of it, and I feel like I'm ready to start showing my own fish now. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, we unfortunately didn't see each other on that show because it was exactly the show where I came and just put my fish into show and had to return back home because of the entire COVID situation when the borders were closing.
Yes, I heard you had to fly back to Denmark. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was there literally on Thursday, and on Saturday morning in the day of a show, I had to fly back. So that was very unfortunate because I didn't get
it's
to
a shame.
see
Yeah.
the show. And also at the same time, I won the show that time. So I was so, so sad that I couldn't be there. But as you've been saying, I'm also very much looking forward to the show that's coming in September. And I hope that I'm going to be seeing you there.
Of course you will. I'll definitely be there.
As far as we're talking about associations and shows, you actually founded your own aquatic club that's called Birmingham Aquatic Club, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So, the Birmingham Aquatic Club was founded in July 2019. It's an exclusive club for all types of fish keepers that are based in the Birmingham and West Midlands area. The club was formed because there wasn't any local aquatic clubs which catered for freshwater, cold water, and marine. Other established aquatic societies were way too far to travel, so with a big want and a big need for one in the area, the club was formed and we held our first ever social meeting on September the 27th, 2019. The purpose of the club is to offer regular social events with the aim of bringing all types of fish keepers together. Events include a mixture of different things like guest speakers, aquatic plant workshops, representatives showing products, fish keeping quizzes, tombolas, raffles, just a few of them, to name a few. The club itself strives to encourage responsible fish keeping and just give people a space really where they can make new friends, further the hobby, and share knowledge. We have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page, and we have a website as well. Anyone can join the club, and we're all a friendly bunch of hobbyists, and everyone will be greeted with a warm welcome.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to include all your social media links in the description below. This is definitely one of the most important things, the social aspect of these kind of events. I really, really miss them because I really enjoyed going to shows. And the one that I've been on last was, I think it was October 2019 as well, when I first met Bill Galbelli and actually first time seeing the Fancy Guppy show, seeing how the judging is working, and as you've said, just having a friendly chat with the friends and like-minded people is so absolutely amazing. It sounds like a very, very amazing club. And how many members do you guys have?
So currently have about 51 members at the moment, with more signing up every day. So I'm really happy with the club's progress so far. It's going really, really well. We actually have an event planned for the 3rd of July this year coming up. So that would be good. Hopefully that can go ahead with the COVID-19 restrictions. It has been quite hard really with the lack of events for fish keepers. I think this COVID-19's really hit everyone quite hard, but fingers crossed this year we should be able to attend some shows and, you know, see some friends and have a good catch up.
Definitely. So this was my next question that I wanted to ask you about. So this particular event is something that you're planning in the future. Are there any other events coming and probably some big goals that you guys want to accomplish in not only near future but also long term?
Yes, we want to help raise money for certain causes such as conservation work. So at the event in July, which is on July the 3rd, we are fundraising for Tropicaria Zoo, and they have some of the rarest goodaids in the world. So we're going to be fundraising for those. We aim to have at least 5 meetings a year. Obviously, we haven't been able to do that with the COVID situation at the moment, but our first meeting is in July, and hopefully we'll be having another one in October. The club just aims to get bigger and better. We just want more members, more events, share the knowledge. It's a great club. I'm really proud of its progress. A lot of hard work and time has gone into it, and I'm really proud of it.
It definitely sounds like it, and we haven't been talking about the online events yet. And this is something that came as a substitution or something happening just because we are not allowed to meet in a person. So I think online shows are something good that is kind of moving things forward, even though we would all prefer to be together and meet each other in person. But what is your opinion about online shows, and have Birmingham Aquatic Club planned any?
Yes, we've had one online show which turned out to be quite successful, and we have another online show planned for May the 1st. It's been quite successful. We've had quite a few entries. The last show was a really big success. It's also a bit of fun as well. It's about bringing people together, and it's definitely been a good substitute for one. In-person meetings can't go ahead at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And what people can be showing on your shows?
So we have classes for different species. So we have a predator class, a fancy goldfish class, a beta class. We have a class for corridoras. Am I missing one out? Probably am, but I can't get it at the top of my head at the moment. So anybody can show their fish. We just need a 20 to 30-second video of their fish. They send it in and it gets judged. Whoever places a first in their class then gets judged for the best in show and they win a rosette. And yeah, it's just quite fun, really. And it's nice to see a lot of people taking part.
Definitely, I have also took part in a couple of online events, and I'm also planning to do it. So maybe I'll take a look at yours as well. And are you also showing some fish online recently?
Well, I entered a fish into the show last year in November, and it was actually a Zoogoneticus Tequila, and it won first place out of 17 entries. So I was quite chuffed with that, to be honest.
Congratulations with
'Cause
that.
yeah, thank you. We do have a livebearer class for this show, the upcoming show, which is on May the 1st.
So are you also going to be entering this show?
I'm not sure. Stuart Hemming has kindly agreed to judge the class, so I'm not sure. I might enter, I might not. I'll see how I feel.
I kind of know how fancy guppy judging works, but judging life bearers, what is the most important thing over there?
Well, the fish has obviously got to be healthy. It's got to be a good size, taking into account whether it's a juvenile or adult, coloration, finnage, and how the fish is presented as well. That's all major things that need to be taken into consideration.
So definitely standards that are not as strict as, for example, in showing fancy guppies, right? Where you literally need to look to every single one fin, follow several standards, and see whether everything is spot on as it is supposed to be.
No, this is it's an independent show, so we try and make it so everybody, whether they're a beginner or a breeder or an expert, we want to make it so everybody can enter. So although we are adhering to certain standards, we're not adhering to the national standard, which I think makes it more better for everyone to enter that's not necessarily entered a fish show before.
Okay, so that would possibly be everything about showing the fish. And what I wanted to ask about that, the last thing that I didn't ask you and I wanted to cover is how many aquariums do you have?
I currently have 20 at the moment.
20 aquariums. Okay, that's a lot.
Yes.
And are you using all of them to breed Zoogoneticus tequila, or are you also breeding some other fish right now? I think you've said that you also have the guppies.
I have the guppies, I've got a zebra colony going. Moving house is a bit difficult because a lot of the tanks have had to be shut down, and various friends are currently looking after some fish for me. So hopefully when I move house I'll be back up and running and getting back to what I love, which is my fish keeping.
Definitely. Are you also having a fish room in your new house?
Yes, I am. And I can't wait.
Perfect. So are you going to be sharing all of this and setting up the new fish room and all the new stuff on your YouTube channel? Because I know that you do have your YouTube channel, you just don't post that regularly, right?
Yeah, like it was just something I originally set up. Um, I've never really been into YouTube, but yes, this year I will be setting up my YouTube channel properly. I'll be recording videos, I'll be showing people my fish room, my fry, all the different species I keep, and I'll also be on the camera as well.
That's absolutely amazing. So we'll finally see you also in the fish fam community, and hopefully we'll see many very interesting videos from you. FishTube and YouTube in general is absolutely amazing platform, and I'm really enjoying it. So every time I hear somebody else saying that they're gonna start doing it, it excites me a lot because I really really love to see fish keeping community growing here on YouTube. But that was mostly everything that I wanted to ask you about. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, it's just that I've invested in a new camera, so that'll be good when I come to record my YouTube videos.
Okay, so is that some kind of nano camera or more like a vlogging style camera? So more focused on.
No, it's a professional camera, so I should be taking some very professional videos. It's all about the quality. I've ordered various tripods and also some backlighting and the green screen as well. So hopefully,
So you're completely prepared to rock and roll
I'm
the
very prepared,
YouTube
Jess.
channel, and as I said, I really can't wait to see your new videos, and I'm definitely sure that also other people would love to see it. So that was everything that I wanted to ask you, Heather. Thank you very much for finding a time and doing this interview with me. Hope to see you soon on my channel. We're possibly gonna be doing some more cooperations in the future on Zoogoneticus Tequila, but thank you very much for finding a time and joining this interview.
Thank you for having me. It's been a privilege.